So, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, classmates. So, today we will going to discuss the classical music, so presented by PARREño and LUAGUE. Introduction. Classical music refers to a broad tradition of music that is most commonly associated with the period between the 18th and early 19th centuries. Classical music is often characterized by its elegance, structures, and clarity. This work continues to inspire and move people today, showing just how timeless the beauty of classical music can be. So, this type of music daw nag-start around 18th and early 19th century and known for its elegance, structure, and clarity. So, even though it's really old, it still impress people today. So, ma-impress daw gihapon ang people today, ma-inspired Japon ang people nowadays daw. Why is classical music important? It has shaped the evolution of music by influencing other genres such as jazz, rock, and even film scores. It remains the cornerstone of music education, serving as a foundation of musical theory and techniques. So, classical music daw kay important because it influenced many types of music we listen today like jazz, rock, and even some movie soundtracks. So, it also the foundation of education, music education. If you study music, you'll always learn about classical music first. So, mag-study ka og music, diha jud daw magsugod sa classical music. So next is the origins of classical music. Classical music has its roots in the liturgical and cellular music of the medieval and Renaissance period. Early music was primarily vocal and used for religious purposes in churches. The development of music notation in the 11th century allowed composers to write down their compositions. The influence of Catholic churches played a crucial role in shaping early classical music. So, next. The major eras of classical music. First is the Baroque period. The Baroque era was characterized by its use of ornate musical structures, complex counterpoint, and grandeur. Composer wrote elaborate pieces that often featured multiple independent melodies played simultaneously. So, example, Bach Brandenburg concertos demonstrate the intricate layering of musical lines and rich harmonies typically of Baroque compositions. So, this is the example. So, you'll hear different melodies playing together at the same time. Super detailed ang kaning Baroque period. So, next is the classical period. The classical period moved away from the complexity of Baroque music, favoring clarity, balance, structures, and elegant melodies. So, example, Mozart eine kleine Musik is a lively and well-structured composition that reflects the simplicity and grace of classical music. So this is the example. It's clearer and lighter than Baroque music. So, kani daw kay it sounds graceful and balanced. Next is romantic period. Romantic composers sought to evoke intense emotions, express individuality, and create dramatic contrasts within their music. They expanded the orchestra, introduced new instruments, and experimented with harmony. Example, Beethoven's Symphony Note 9 introduced choral voice into a symphony for the first time, expressing universal themes of brotherhood and joy. So this is the example. So, romantic music is emotional and dramatic daw. So, composer wanted to show strong feelings. So, sa ano daw is, ang mga composer kay ginapakita nila ang ilang strong feelings sa ilahang music. So, next is the modern classical. This period saw composers breaking away from traditional structures, exploring atonality, and experimenting with new sounds and techniques. Example, Stravinsky, The Rite of Spring was revolutionary that its premiere in 1913 caused a riot due to unusual rhythms and harmonies. So, this is the example. So in a modern classical, this is when composers started experimenting now. So experimenting with their rhythm and sounds, weird rhythm and sounds daw ang modern classical. So more to. So I'll pass it to PARREñO po. So
Characteristics of classical music: melody and harmony. Classical compositions often feature clear, structured melodies that are easy to follow while maintaining depth and complexity. Harmonies are carefully crafted with composers using specific chord progressions to create tension and resolution. So, for example, Haydn's Surprise Symphony includes a sudden loud chord in an otherwise soft passage to surprise listeners. So, this is an example of Haydn's Surprise Symphony. And then for instrumentation, classical music is typically performed by orchestras, chamber ensembles, or solo instruments. Each instrument in an orchestra has a distinct role from the powerful brass section to the delicate strings. So, for example, Vivaldi's The Four Seasons feature violin solos that vividly depict the changing seasons through musical techniques like fast runs and dramatic dynamics. So, this is the example of instrumentation. So the dynamics and expression. Classical music uses crescendos or gradual increase in volume and diminuendos, gradual decreases in volume to add emotional depth. Example, 1812 Overture builds in intensity, culminating in the use of real cannon fire for dramatic effect. So this is an example of the dynamics in expression. And then for written notation, classical music relies on precise notation to communicate every aspect of composition from tempo to articulation. Example of this is the Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata is performed exactly as written, preserving its haunting beauty for centuries. So this is an example of Beethoven Moonlight Sonata written notation. So, what makes classical music unique? So, classical music is known for its balance and symmetry, Unlike the more dramatic and emotional music of the Baroque period, classical music tends to be more orderly and refined. It focuses on melody and harmony, and the compositions are often more structured with clear beginnings, middles, and ends. One of the main features of classical music is sonata form, which organizes the music into specific sections, allowing for a sense of development and resolution. Composers also began to focus more on orchestral music, writing symphonies, concertos, and chamber music for larger assemblies. So, famous composers and their contributions. One is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart is one of the most famous composers of all time, known for his ability to blend clarity with emotional depth. He wrote in many genres, from symphonies to operas. Some of his most beloved works include Ein Eden Nacht Music, the Magic Flute, and his final Requiem. Second is Ludwig van Beethoven. Beethoven is often considered the bridge between the classical and romantic periods. His music is known for pushing boundaries, both in terms of form and emotion. His Symphony Number 9, or Ode to Joy, and Moonlight Sonata. So, third is Franz Joseph Haydn, often referred to as the father of symphony. Haydn's music is full of wit and invention. He played a major role in shaping the symphony and string quartet. His Symphony Number 94 and the creation are excellent examples of his work. So the orchestra and the rise of symphonies. During the classical period, orchestras became larger and more organized. Composers began writing more complex and sophisticated works for orchestras, and the symphony became one of the most popular forms of music. A symphony usually consists of multiple movements with contrasting moods and tempos, creating a musical journey for the listener. Concertos, which feature a solo instrument accompanied by an orchestra, also became prominent during this time. Works like Mozart Piano Concertos Number 21 and Beethoven Violin Concerto show off the skill of the soloist while still giving importance to the orchestra as a whole. Opera in the classical period. Opera also saw great growth during the classical era. Mozart, in particular, created some of the most memorable operas ever composed, including Don Giovanni, The Magic Flute, and The Marriage Figaro. His operas are notable for combining beautiful melodies with strong, relatable characters and dramatic plots. The role of classical music in society. In films and media, many classical pieces are used in films, commercials, and video games to enhance storytelling and emotion. In ceremonies and traditions, classical music is often played at formal events, weddings, and national ceremonies. Psychological benefits. Studies suggest that listening to classical music can improve memory, reduce stress, and enhance concentration. So, in conclusion, classical music has played a significant role in shaping the world of music and continues to be appreciated for its complexity and beauty. It serves as a foundation for many modern musical styles and remains an integral part of cultural heritage. Whether for relaxation, education, or artistic appreciation, classical music remains a powerful and timeless art of form. So, thank you for listening.